Hey there guys, what is going on? We are back with the brand new series on the channel. We've got every class setup, or every weapon with the best class setup in the game for sure. We are of course up to the Marksman Rifle, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video. There is of course only the EBR, the brushstroke sort of MK2 Carbine, the Kar98k, the Crossbow, and then the utility tool SKS. Basically, there's only 5 Marksman Rifles in this game, so of course, as I said, this will be a little bit shorter than normal. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on the rest of this series and any of the upcoming stuff. And let's just jump straight into the first Marksman Rifle here, which is of course the EBR-14. Our perks aren't going to be super relevant here, you can pretty much choose whatever you like. I usually go with EOD, Ghost, and Tracker, C4 in the lethal slot, and then the Stim Shot for the tactical option. But as for the EBR, basically this is sort of an inferior version of the FAL, so a lot of the Marksman Rifles aren't particularly good in this game, but you can still do a decent amount of work with them. Like, this can get a one-shot headshot, so that's always going to be pretty powerful in this game. As for our attachments here, we are looking for that barrel, the Forged Tack Precision 20-inch barrel for that damage range, bullet velocity, and of course that recoil control. All the best barrels in the game have these stats, and if they don't, well, you maybe want to steer clear of them for the most part, but this is a really good option for this particular weapon, increasing that sort of damage range that we do get, making that one-shot kill very, very easy to get as long as we are hitting those headshots. Then we want the tack laser, bring up those sights nice and quickly. Here, that aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking steadiness is really nice here for making us very, very accurate. Like, getting those sights up is initially very, very important, but once we are on target or got those sights up, being able to control that sort of weapon sway is really, really nice, and the tack laser does a very, very good job here. We move to probably the best attachment for this particular weapon, the FSS Raider Chassis Elite, or Chassis Elite. This is basically a best of both worlds. All of the stats that you could want. Aim down sight speed, aim walking movement speed, and then the sprint to fire speed as well. This is a very, very nice attachment here for giving us all the stats that we do require for this particular weapon. Getting those sights up nice and quickly as we are moving around the map is very, very powerful here, of course. You can then stick with like the FSS Raider Chassis Pro, which is a little bit different aim down sight speed and aim walking movement speed, but the FSS Raider is a really, really nice option for that extra sprint to fire speed. We then want the optic in the GI Mini Reflex. Basically, you can choose whatever particular optic you do like the look of here. Even a sniper scope, if you are looking for those one-shot kills, is really, really nice here, but we want to be fast, mobile, and active, so GI Mini Reflex is a great option for getting a nice clear sight picture while getting a nice aim down sight speed. And then lastly, to round it off, we want that Commando foregrip. Basically, this doesn't reduce our aim down sight speed and gives us a nice amount of recoil control. Really, really simple option here. Nice class setup in my opinion. Definitely not one of the most powerful weapons in the game, but still a very usable one at that. Then we move to a much better weapon in this game. The MK2 Carbine is probably one of the best weapons in the game that really nobody uses because it is kind of difficult to get the most out of it most of the time. Like, if you aren't hitting those one-shot kills, well, you're probably going to die for the most part. And this is a very interesting class because it's pretty much off the shelf with the brushstroke variety. Basically, we want that very, very fast aim down sight speed from the tack laser. Of course, getting those sights up with this is very, very important. That stipple grip tape, of course, does allow us to do that as well. Aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed. Then, of course, the FSS MK2 Sport Comb aim down sight speed as well. Then we want the sleight of hand to get those shells into the gun as fast as possible, of course. And then lastly, a very interesting attachment here that I wouldn't have normally gone with in this particular sort of slot, but the Solar Zero NVG Enhanced. Now, this is very, very interesting here. It's a really, really nice clear sight picture, lets you see pretty much everybody as quickly as possible, but the most important thing you can do with this particular option is aim down sight, get the kill, unzoom, so unaim down sight, and then re-aim down sight. It sort of has a weird feature where it does like reset the recoil control, so it's really, really easy to hit like a follow-up shot as long as you sort of unaim down sight and then re-aim down sight. It's really, really easy to hit most shots with this. The MK2 Carbine, you get those one-shot kills and you do a great amount of work with this. It's definitely one of the best weapons in the game. The Kar98k is a very, very good weapon in this game as well. It does perform very, very nicely as a sort of pseudo sort of sniper rifle. It sort of functions as a marksman rifle. It's a little bit less powerful of a sniper, but I mean, you can still get one-shot kills to the chest and the head with this very, very easily for the most part in multiplayer. It's really, really easy to get kills with this, and similar to the rest of these particular weapons, we want a very, very fast aim down sight speed. So usual sort of tack laser, aim down sight speed, that F-Tac Sport Comb as well for that aim down sight speed, stipple grip tape as well for that aim down sight speed, of course. Then you want to add that sniper scope so you can actually turn this into a quick scoping beast. Adding a sort of barrel option in replacement for one of the perks or something like that is not a great option, as this does slow down our aim down sight speed while not giving us too much in terms of damage range and stuff like that. that. So kind of iffy on these options, but our last option should then of course be the focus perk, which does increase our flinch resistance, making it much harder for us to sort of miss our shots if we do sort of get shot while we are aiming down sight. But as I said, you get those one-shot kills with the Kar98k, and you do a brilliant amount of work with this. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game as well, because quickscoping is of course very, very fun in this game. Like, you just pull up those sights nice and quickly, get the kill, move on to the next target as usual. Very, very important option in this game. A really, really fun choice in my opinion. A very interesting weapon in this game is, of course, the crossbow. It's never going to be one of the most powerful, but it's a decent utility tool, and you can set this up to pretty much do whatever you do like here. Like, basically, the bolt options do give you a great amount of utility. Like, you can get those thermite tips, which will kill people in basically one shot. That venom tip, which does make a little bit of a gas cloud, which is very, very interesting. Sort of blocks off lines of sight. You can't walk that way while there is the gas cloud. And then the fury bolts, which do blow people up as well. A very, very interesting option as well. It's not really a main weapon for the most part. Like, you'd probably run this in an overkill class as your second weapon and then use this as a very powerful piece of utility. But that is, of course, up to you. But if you're using this as your main weapon, basically you want to do as much damage with those single shots as possible. Get those sights up nice and quickly and do a decent amount of work here. Sleight of hand is a must-have because the reload speed for the crossbow is absolute doo-doo. The FTAC speed grip as well for that aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed. Pretty easy option to go with there. Basically, we are getting those sights up nice and quickly with that speed track as well, aim down sight speed. Then the tac laser as well, aim down sight speed as usual. And then the XRK Thunder 200-pound arms for that damage range and bolt velocity. Really, really hitting those targets as quickly as possible. I mean, of course, you can get different options that do increase the bolt velocity as well. But I feel like this is the best option for getting the best of both worlds in terms of like aim down sight speed and stuff like that. So I feel like the crossbow is a good piece of utility, and you can probably drop off one of these options here for taking like one of the utility bolts. But I wouldn't really recommend using the crossbow too much. It's interesting, but you know how it goes. And then lastly, the inferior FAL in this game. The SKS is a sad gun in this game, unfortunately. Like, two-shot kill is fine, but I mean, the FAL just does it better. Like, you get those one-shot kills if you do land a headshot. It just feels better to use the FAL, but the SKS, if you are interested in it, basically all you're after is one of those decent barrels, that damage range, and of course that bullet velocity, hitting those targets as quickly as possible with most of our shots. Really, really important option here to get those shots on target as quickly as possible. Tac laser as well. Aim down sight speed, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. You know what the tac laser does by now, of course. The Geo mini reflex for a nice clean sight picture. Really, really important because the ADS speed is really, really nice with these attachments, but the actual iron sights are pretty bad with this particular option, so you do need a sight on this particular weapon. Then the sword off for that aim down sight speed, movement speed as usual. That's all you want, really. Basically, you're just after getting those sights up nice and quickly, moving around the map very, very fast. And then the commando foregrip to help keep us on target is really, really important here. Just one of those options that's not super great in this game. I don't really like using the SKS, but you can do some okay work with it for the most part. Like, it's a decent weapon in this game for sure. And that is, of course, every single marksman rifle in the game. We do have the EBR, we do have, of course, the MK2 Carbine, the Sterling sort of Kar98k, the crossbow, and then the utility tool SKS. These aren't some of the best weapons in the game, apart from like the two in the middle that I mentioned earlier. The EBR is okay, and then the SKS is like an inferior FAL, and then the crossbow is just kind of a bit different. Very, very fun weapons though, for the most part. Thank you very much for watching this one. If you were looking for those class setups, I do appreciate you stopping by and checking this video out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I will see you in the next episode in this series or another video of mine. Bye!